we go, and we are recording. This is our weekly ETH DAO sync call. And we had a productive parameter call 2 days ago. So now I think we can either, I mean, I guess we were already there, so we don't have to necessarily present it to the group, but I think the bigger question is, how do we want to move forward if we want to continue with trying to give the parameter updates as is, or if we want to, like Paul said, just kind of do a redeployment now that we have kind of a better idea of our parameter settings and tokenomic settings. I guess the next question would be, how would that impact our other initiatives, and what would the process be? So I think we could always like put up a proposal, you know, to say like, do we want to wind down the DAO and then reboot as 2.0? And then we could even we could have the Gnosis safe set up already, so that we could basically be doing airdrops immediately. So I think we have like kind of, I think we probably have like one more chance, like one shot to kind of do it a little bit more appropriately. I think the longer you have a DAO in operations, the harder it is to like reboot, or I guess fork, which I think it's a spork. What's the a spork is when you create a baby DAO. That's what it's called. I just made that up, but anyways, I mean, last night's conversation at the event was really cool because I was trying to explain like how smart contracts, wallet accounts work, and how you can program the procreation of sub DAOs and other like on-chain entities. So that was interesting to kind of get people's reactions. A lot of blank faces, but I think they were getting it. So anyways, that's kind of my 2 cents about that. But I think it's probably one of the more critical questions we have right now.
Yeah, I think it's a good point. So I guess my question is, well, first of all, I definitely see the case for that. And hello, Julia. So we're discussing, and Tony just brought up the idea of resetting, like redeploying. Last Monday, we discussed like some of the parameters, and we're getting a lot better idea like how we want to configure some of these parameters. Antonio, you mentioned like if we do reset, we would be able to initialize it with the Gnosis safe. How close are we to that? Like, do we understand what we need in order to initialize the Gnosis safe?
Yeah, luckily they have the Gnosis chain support now, so we can just have the multi-sig signers volunteer. And I kind of like Robin's suggestion where it's like start with the 204. And yeah, I think what still needs to be setting up the safe is straightforward. I think the next question would be, how do we want to do like kind of treasury management? So if we want to have both like, I think this kind of plays into the tokenomics design, where if we want to have like a certain portion set aside for like the treasury to manage it, but we also want to have like a diversified portfolio. So we may want to, you know, hold some honey, hold some give, hold some Rappi, hold some XDAI in addition to Rico. So we probably have a few different token types in there. So that's kind of like starting the multi-sig wallet is pretty straightforward. It's just we would need to have at least 4 people to sign up for that responsibility, or we could 3 of 5, 4 of 6. So I think we have to set the signer numbers, and who the signers are is I think our first priority, and then the second would be how do we want to do treasury management. So that's pretty much it.
Okay, but at least to get started, what comes first? Do we need to set that up first and then we can redeploy the DAO? Or
I think we would set that up first, because if I remember correctly, in the startup wizard, they had like a question where you could like plug in your Gnosis, already existing Gnosis safe.
Okay.
But if we want, we can just go through could share the screen, but I mean, or you could take my word for it.
Yeah, no, I think that makes sense. So perhaps that's like a prerequisite to any kind of like decision on that. Like, let's perhaps try to get that set up, and then we can go from there. And like treasury management, I guess that's something that it's kind of fluid, right? We can update like as we go along if we want to hold this token over that token. Is that true?
Yeah, I think we might want to have like a good idea before we. I think we can be doing all of this stuff together. So if we're doing the tokenomics, the parameters, the Gnosis safe, and the airdrop, I feel like that all kind of, as well as like, we'll probably want to have a strategy for how we want to initialize those liquidity pools. So if we want to start with like more honey liquidity this time.
Yep, agreed.
So I would say I want to get some more information from Paul on what are the steps needed to take to wind down the DAO, like if that's something we want to do. So I feel like we can do defense and offense, where it's like defense, we're kind of figuring out how to wind down the DAO, and then offense, we're figuring out like how to do a full, more robust deployment this time around.
Yeah, and another question, where does the treasury come from, right? The initial funding, the initial capital, I suppose. Like if we're going to start out with like, X amount of capital, where does that come from? And I guess that's something that needs to be determined.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I can always throw in some XDAI. Well, I guess honey XDAI. I mean, what would be a reasonable number? Like $10,000 worth of honey to start out a pool, or like what's?
That's a good number. I like that number.
Yeah, I mean, I still think we could grow. I guess the original idea is and I don't know, like, I feel like with this DAO, we're doing a little bit of everything, at least like putting it on the dream board. So if we wanted to be kind of collectively running a staking node through the DAO, and we had 32 ETH worth, but I mean, we could even do the GNO to start with.
Yeah, I like the idea. I don't know if we need to initialize it with that. I mean, I think that's something that's easy to add, like once we're in a good place.
I guess just like ballpark figure, like how big will we want to grow the treasury? Like, because ideally, if we have maybe like 1 million under assets under management, then we can be getting that DeFi yield. So I guess that's that would, I don't know, maybe, I don't know who our financial strategist is. We're all wearing that hat.
Yeah, and a lot of details regarding this. So last Monday we discussed a lot of like voting parameters, and I think we made some pretty good progress. We also touched upon a little bit tokenomics, but maybe next Monday we can really dive deeper into like the tokenomics of it, assuming that we're pretty much wrapped up with the voting parameters. But yeah, definitely an important topic. We should come to some kind of agreement.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I like that we're getting more more input from like what other DAOs have done. I feel like we have like enough for like a DAO playbook, which I guess one thing that I feel that I wanted to do but didn't necessarily have the bandwidth or motivation, but blogging this learning journey. But I think maybe we could. I guess, yeah. What do you think about that? If we had somebody doing some, because I feel like Medium or even Mirror, like Mirror is on the to-do list too, to have a Mirror blog. That would drive a lot of.
Would be great. I don't know if personally I can commit to that, but I agree. It would be great to have.
Yeah, I think transitioning. So like, let's say if we were to do a DAO 2.0 and so aside from kind of the tokenomics and the treasury logistics, how do we onboard like say like 10 to 100 new members and get them like contributing? So I guess there's like a pathway from like zero to hero for DAO Ninja, and then the other thing is if we wanted to go ahead and just like get a new logo and just kind of kick that process off already, or do we want to like do the NFT logo thing as a part of like the new DAO launch if we go that route?
I think it makes sense. DAO 2.0, new logo. We can kind of coordinate that. Similar timing.
What's your opinion on all this? Because I know this is like a lot of new information, or like, yeah, just kind of what's your perspective?
Mine?
Yes.
Well, I mean, I think it's been, well, okay, so if the objective is to be hosting events, I mean, we're now like 2 months in and there hasn't been an event. So from that mission statement standpoint, we're failing pretty bad. So if our new mission, if on the other hand, our mission is to educate and experiment and learn, then we definitely should be documenting, like you said. And it doesn't even have to be something formal and well-written for like a formal blog post, even if just like to do a 5 to 15 minute per week between the two of you guys video recording vlog type thing, just so that there is some content related to what are the lessons learned over the week related to this process, then I think that would be valuable. But I mean, I guess just high level, like we've put in a lot of work, but like, what do we have to show for it yet? And the answer, sadly, is nothing, except for education and knowledge. But is there a way that we could produce and like include the community and have an event or whatever, if that is our objective? Or do we need to revisit our objective? Maybe that's not our mission. Just some food for thought.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I think it's still early stages, so it's still very messy. But like Alex was saying, I think we have made progress in learning ourselves, and yeah, I think we can do a little better job of education content. Moving forward with like event stuff, I think I mean I'm comfortable doing like one online event, like having kind of like the guest speaker series, and if we're looking at like, I don't think it was what is the bottleneck for like event hosting, you think? If that's like, is it payment compensation, or is it just like more logistical challenges?
I just think nobody's like stepped up to host and like physically be there and do the coordination and marketing and advertising, everything that goes into hosting an event. I mean, I've got tons of venues, I've done tons of venue research, so that's not an issue. It's really, but like, I already host like 2 or 3 other stuff, so I'm not interested in hosting this as well.
Well, I think the physical stuff, I feel like there's already a lot of like physical in-person meetups on the island already. So, but there's not a lot of online. I feel like one thing we are doing well is we are putting up a decent amount of like online content. So, yeah, we can definitely like create better, like, yeah, how do we improve the quality? So
but, yeah, I just don't think everybody has the time to consume like these meetings in full length. So just a 5 to 15 minute reflection of the week, I think people would consume. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good point. So what do you think where do we go from here, I guess? Unfortunately, Paul's not here, so we don't have kind of our one hive guide.
Well, I'd be curious to get your guys' feedback overall on OneHive and perspective overall on OneHive, do you think that it has accelerated and supported the process, or do you think it has hindered the process? Or yeah, what's your experience of it so far?
Well, I can give my perspective. I think I mentioned earlier, like I came into this not knowing a whole lot about DAOs and learning like the OneHive framework. It's quite technical as far as like, if you wanted to participate in the DAO, maybe you don't need to know so much. But if you want to set up a DAO and configuring it in a way where it's it's resistant to any kind of like attacks. There's a lot of technical parameters that need to be configured. So over the last, I don't know, maybe 4 weeks, we've quite frankly kind of been struggling to kind of wrap our heads around all this. And I think we're finally getting to a point where we're really starting to understand like some of these different parameters and like how everything's configured. So now we're kind of at the point where like, okay, do we reset the DAO with the parameters that we feel comfortable with? And how do we integrate like the Gnosis safe and all of these tools that we would love to have in a way where it's coherent. But I agree, over the last like 4 to 6 weeks, like it's been kind of a struggle and it's been kind of like a learning process. But that's kind of my perspective. Anybody else want to share?
No, I agree with you 100%. I think it's way more time consuming than we initially anticipated to set up the DAO. So it is being a challenge. I think we're getting there. Every single day we're getting closer. We're getting a better understanding. So I think it's just a matter of time. It's just putting the pieces together and just getting the DAO ready to do what it's meant to do, basically.
Yeah, thanks both guys. Has it been considered doing the 2.0 on another platform? Or is Hive like definitely the right one for what we're trying to accomplish?
Yeah. Well, I think for what we're doing, continuing with the OneHive, because we spent all that time kind of learning all the ins and outs and tinkering with like how everything works. I would be very supportive of other people doing DAOs on different platforms and also engaging as a contributor there as well. So I think we have to get a lot more comfortable with the idea of spinning up and spinning down DAOs, getting comfortable cross-platform. I think I appreciate OneHive has been, because there's like a lot of engagement in their platforms and forums that we have to kind of like pull at to get like information. But I think Paul's been helpful as like an onboarding guide. And I think that we have enough information now where we can, for the next deployment, feel a little bit more confident where if we say, okay, well, we do have a legal entity, we do have kind of all of the questions figured out that we had that we didn't have answers for before. And then I feel confident putting some more liquidity behind the DAO and then asking others to provide more financial liquidity as well as like contributor human resource capital if we're doing events or education stuff like that. But a lot of these DAOs that have launched, we're talking like maybe like 2 to 3 years of formation and dialogue, because we're coming out of the DAO dark ages. Like it was a long 5 years of like everybody wanting DAOs to be a thing, but all the platforms were just like really hard if you weren't at the software level. So even though this is a really like hard process, it's easier than it was before. So I think we have to measure our success differently in the DAO space. So I guess my point being is I would like to continue with the one hive, at least for the next iteration. But I would also like to have more DAOs on different platforms here in Puerto Rico, like, because I'm sure there's going to be a DAO House DAO, or, you know, something else. But yeah, it is time consuming. So I think we can be more conscious about that. Where looking forward, if we want to do, I guess the idea was to do one more parameter party, and that we could have our voting parameters and our token supply kind of settled. And then those were kind of the biggest questions when we were starting up doing the DAO startup template last time. And yeah.
Yeah, so I have two things. One, this process is time consuming. It is difficult. It is a learning process. And it at times seems slow. But we are making progress, and it's kind of a necessary thing to really fully understand like what we're dealing with. And like a lot of this is experimental. A lot of this is in development, to be honest. So to be where we're at today, we're far ahead of, the general population doesn't really understand DAOs. What percentage of the overall population even has heard about a DAO, and then what percentage of that like fully understands like how to configure like some of these parameters. So we're really making good progress, I think. That being said, in parallel, how do we immediately engage the community? How do we immediately make an impact? How do we immediately produce and, start producing results for the community? Because I think there is a large number of people that want to engage in something like a DAO. So how do we, while we're going through this process, how do we immediately engage this community and not waste that opportunity, that potential? So I think we need to do both. While we're making progress, it's still taking time, and we can be using that time in parallel to hopefully make an immediate impact. So how do we do that?
Yeah, exactly. And so like to capitalize upon the existing efforts, because there's clearly a lot of effort that's going into this. And I think a lot of the people in the community would actually love to have that window into what we're doing, but without it consuming an hour of their time every week. Because that's we're investing, you guys are investing all of this time. And so how can these folks benefit from all of this value that you're learning and get value out of what you're learning without needing to invest so much? You know what I mean? So to be able to communicate those like lessons learned, challenges, just somehow giving them that window without, they don't need to see the full house, but they do, just to give them that peak of the highlights of that week, so that they're able to glean, and that what you learn isn't just staying in this container, it's able to have like a broader reach, and then they're able to also keep doing what they're doing best, and then you guys keep doing what you're doing best, and being able to disperse the key knowledge, I think would be extremely valuable for the community. Because there's definitely a lot of people who want to learn about DAOs, and there's lots of stuff online about high level, but to know like what are you guys in your specific experience learning, because they know you and they want to see how things are going, I think would be really valuable.
Yeah, I agree 100%. So how can we do that immediately? Should we have like a weekly newsletter, like a write-up, or you discuss like a shorter video, like a summary? Like what's the best way to do that, and how do we commit to that? Like who should be responsible for producing that? Because definitely will take some effort.
Well, so I guess to answer your question is another question, like how do you think they would prefer to consume it? Do you think they'd prefer to consume it reading it, or like listening to something that they could listen on faster speed? I'm asking you guys. You know the audience better than me. What do you think, Antonio?
I think if we were to do educational content on Mirror and then have that link to our NFT sale, I think that would be probably the most. I mean, we have to have more Web3 native tools integrated.
And would that be a weekly, like a weekly article?
Yeah, I think it would be maybe like a 3 or 4 part series where it kind of showcases how we decided and set up the DAO.
I'm happy to assist with this in terms of making it more of a conversation and to get the content, to generate the content. Like I've helped other friends with this before, just asking probing questions, and then the response is basically it writes itself. Ends up being pretty low effort. So I'm happy to help from that perspective.
Maybe doing like a crowdsource if it was like maybe we have like 10 question prompts. And then we just invited people from the DAO to kind of put in their thoughts or kind of like what they learned. Or I don't know if you had another idea for like framing.
Yeah, I just find in this kind of thing, it's easier to do as like it's easier to do synchronistically, because when someone's like at least our age has received an assignment, it's like schoolwork, like nobody wants to do it.
Okay, yeah.
So that's why I'm making it more conversational. I'm happy to be on that, asking the questions and making it a conversation. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I feel like even though it can feel frustrating at times, I feel like I am having fun. Because it is very like it's creative work. So I guess I don't want to do. It's not that if things like start feeling like work. How do we bring back play into this process? Is my point.
Yeah.
And wanting to make it attractive for people to join. I think a lot of people have wanted to join, but it's one of these things where the DAO we weren't quite ready because we didn't have like everything sorted out. And also it might have been too like technically overwhelming for like people who weren't, so I think having I've always wanted to do a video, and maybe this is something that I can volunteer. Alex, we can do this together if we wanted to do like a short like 15-minute setup guide, like by video, or we could just I've had people request kind of like office hours. So for new people, that's what a lot of DAOs do, is on their Discord channel, they'll just have like weekly office hours, and there's like, just like in the video channel. So DAO Ops assumes like how DAOs are operating now is it's just like a lot of like most of the people are, 8-10 hours a day on their computer and are in multiple DAOs and like constantly like moving through different chat channels and Discords and Telegram. So it's like, I think people who are working in the DAO space are just so fluid in their DAO-ness that it's like really jarring for people to come into this world because there's already been a lot of DAO culture. And actually there's a talk tomorrow at ETH Denver with a woman from the Token Engineering Commons who's going to be talking about like culture. I'll find the link, but yeah, I think the hardest, like even with the technical stuff, the cultural integration can feel even more challenging sometimes. So, but with that being said, yeah, Julie, if you have like good prompts or like ideas, even if it's just like some interview, multimedia interview stuff, that could be cool. And I think, yeah, we can just open the door more. I've been a little bit, even though I've been inviting people in here and there, but I guess in retrospect, even if we gave everybody the link to the DAO on Gnosis chain, who even has like enough XDAI to like even buy our token? What is like the security by design, or it's like.
Yeah, it's definitely a difficult process, but I honestly believe if there's a will, there's a way. Like if people want to join, they'll get on. It's really just a matter of like, are people motivated to do it? And like, are we kind of like asking people like, come on in. And we're not quite there yet, but I'd like to go back to the kind of like the original idea we had of like hosting events and then collecting a list. And I know when we first had that idea, Jose was ready to go. He was like, okay, I'm already starting with a list. I already have a bunch of people. And we were like, hold on, not so fast. We're not quite there yet. But it seems like, why don't we start making a list of people? We need the address, the wallet address, and the name. I don't think we even need email. Maybe as an option, we can collect emails, but we really just need a list of people that are, want to contribute and join a DAO. And then as we're going along, we're discussing, okay, redeploying, and like, we can just do an airdrop at that point. Once we have that list, okay, everybody gets X number of tokens at that point. And, we can figure out the onboarding later at that point. The onboarding, we'll figure out exactly how to do that. But why don't we go back to the original idea of like, let's hold some events, whether or not we do POAPs or not, collect a list of people. And then once we have that list, we can do the airdrop when we launch, 2.0. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah. Do you mind if I share my screen real quick? I finally was able to figure out the form. And so even if we were to say, like, I could redirect ethpr.org to this form, and then we can get some information, and then even I'll add another one saying like, how would you like to contribute? And then I'll give like a little kind of like some bubble options if it's education or event management or like marketing. And Umberto, he made a message saying he can help people with the social media. So I think we can do both, like cast a broader net with signups, and we can also be adding manually if we have people in mind.
And what about having events where we can say, okay, everyone who attended this event, maybe they get some kind of a incentive or, a token incentive for attending?
I think that, yeah, I like the idea of the events are places where people can feel like they can get like customer support almost. So if we want to be having, people can bring their computers and actually like kind of be handheld into like setting up, or I guess, because I think one of our biggest challenges is going to be like technical onboarding.
Yeah,
honestly,
I don't think we should be too concerned about technical onboarding. I know it's a challenge. I'm not trying to downplay, but
yeah,
at the same time, I think it's more important for people to have an interest. Because if people are really interested, we'll figure out the technical side. Like that's the easy part. I tend to think. So how do we really get people engaged? How do we get people asking questions? Willing to make contributions? And then the technical, like these are just tools, right? At the end of the day, what are we really trying to do? We're trying to make an impact. We're trying to build a community, et cetera, et cetera. So I think we should focus on that. And then technical side, like we'll figure out the technical side. Antonio, you already started producing like onboarding document. We can make onboarding videos. Like there's many things we can do to make that a lot easier for people, even if they don't have a background in like Web3, DeFi, NFT, this kind of this technical world.
So I have two speakers that I could invite. One guy from the Secret Network, and then another guy who does the Dex Grid. Those are two people that I have off the top of my list. So even if there was like, maybe we get a couple of guest speakers who are interested in speaking. So maybe that's part of what we're doing as well, like finding speakers. And we have, lists of venues. And if we wanted to like look at maybe sponsorship, we can look a little bit later once we have kind of our new treasury set up. So I think those are two actionable items, is like seeing who wants to speak, either in real life or for virtual events. Because we could be doing more to get, just like I had the Will Ruddock guy from the Grassroots Economics on last week. There's a lot of people globally in the ecosystem who can contribute educational talks. But I guess at the end of the day, like getting more people to just take ownership of the event hosting from kind of like start to finish. I mean, getting more people proficient in managing and hosting these events.
Sure. And I think events that can be even more informal. Like we don't necessarily need a budget to hold an event. Yeah. Like we can just say, okay, we're going to do this at this place at this time. And whoever wants to can show up and, we can talk about what we're trying to do with this DAO, like what stage we're at, what are the challenges, how can you help? Just kind of starting there to actually build like this interest in people who actually want to contribute. And over time, like we're kind of inching our way closer to on like the technical side. So hopefully like over time as interest grows, we'll have a very, solid infrastructure as far as like the technical side of it. But yeah, I agree. We should really start like trying to make an impact like with the community, engaging the community.
I think we are. I think people are already like, for example, here in Rincon, there's a local guy running Raul, so he's doing a lot of like education as well in Spanish, and I guess like making more partnerships. He's running. It's basically he's doing a token on Solana. So that's there's that's a lot going on.
So I'd like to throw out an idea of something like immediately actionable that we could actually have something out like next week to folks that could segue into a meet and greet. So I'd propose doing just like a 5-question sort of chat style interview where, I can ask these questions and you guys can answer it, and I can also, contribute any color to it. And then that could probably be like a 15 to 20-minute segment that we can distribute and say, oh, and by the way, we're having a meet and greet on this date at wherever, Carly's or something in Old San Juan. I know he's friendly, crypto friendly. Come hang out and we'll get, we can talk more. So I'd like to propose that if you guys are available.
Yeah. Can we? Should we still be doing stuff on like the OneHive forum if we want to be posting? I think that's really beneficial because the broader community can see what we're doing and what we're up to. So if I guess one of the things that I've been we have to work the system. So it's like for any proposal, like it starts in the forum.
Okay. Well, I'll need some. I'm happy to post this in the forum if someone wants to walk me through it, hold my hand and walk me through proposing this.
Well, let's do that. Maybe we can just do that right now real quick. Let me pull that up.
So these questions, you're saying like we write them out, or you want to do like an interview type of thing?
Yeah, we'll do just a chat, just to, like exactly like we're doing right now, a video.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that idea.
Super easy, low cost. Nothing professional. It's just
like
fast and easy.
So this is the OneHive forum. I'm logged into my account, and it's easy to create a new topic, and you can create a category. So ideas, and then this one would be like team feedback, learning journey.
Can you drop the link to that in the
interview? Yeah. And so you're thinking more of like you're conducting an interview, a video interview, or is? Yeah,
just like this. Just like we're chatting right now. I'm asking questions and you're giving answers.
Cool.
Okay.
And then here, let me just share this as well. Let's see what's going on here. Because I guess we can get a lot of like I guess we're doing local outreach as well as like international / like ecosystem support too. Let's see, I'm not, because I don't have. Okay, well, Here, let me just try one more thing. Well, not having great luck, but either way, we should also be starting to like post content to Mirror. I think we should have like an official. Too bad Rafa. I mean, I'll ask Rafa in the chat group, or at least to see how he's doing. I know he's been pretty like heads down with like cabin creator stuff. So, yeah. But yeah, Julia, thanks for offering that. And that could be fun.
Okay. So I'm not even sure I have like money or whatever to make the proposal. So literally.
Oh, you don't have to, because I don't think we're gonna. I think the next proposal for. Okay, well, this is a good question. Should we still continue to use our current DAO as signaling? Okay. Did we ever figure out, like, did anything ever execute from our transactions? Like, I feel like we didn't get much clarity. Did the target ratio update? Did like that code go through, Alex? Okay.
Yeah, that was executed on Monday. That was our first decision vote.
Right.
Decision vote.
And it was executed as well. It wasn't active.
Yeah.
Okay.
The first
and
one.
That made a change on the code base. Did that update the smart contract?
Yeah, I would assume so. I guess I would have, you know, in order to verify that. But according to the interface, it was executed. Yeah. The first one, the reason the first one failed is we're not allowed to print tokens directly to the common pool. That's just a configuration for the type of DAO that we have. But the other parameters we should be able to update.
Okay. So Julie, I think for this one, maybe you only have to create a forum post. And I guess my bigger question was, do we still want to use this version of the DAO, or do we want to, like, the last proposal that we do is to wind it down? Or do we want to still continue using it for voting?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if we've really come to a decision today, but I'm open to the idea. I think it's just a matter of we should replace, you know, we should launch that new DAO as we're discussing. You know, no reason to wind this down until that's in place. But
okay.
A few things I think we need to kind of come to a decision, but I think it's perhaps, you know, make a proposal to do that and outline exactly how we're going to do that. There's definitely a lot of questions that we don't have answered. But if it makes it, honestly, if it makes it easier to get where we want to be, and it makes it faster to get where we want to be, then let's do that. I think, you know, what are the costs? What are the benefits? If it gets us to a place that we want to be faster and easier, then
agreed. Yeah.
Because that's the most important thing. Then we can start onboarding. Then we can start, you know, funding actual proposals and making, you know, an actual impact. So the sooner, the faster, the easier that we can get there, I would be in favor.
Okay. So question being, should Julia also create, in addition to a forum post, should she also create a proposal, a suggestion proposal, or even a funding proposal if, you know, we could still
I don't know if it's necessary. I think we should decide, you know, if we're going to do it, and if we are, then how are we going to do it?
So I can, I'll post on the forum about the winding down the DAO, like what that would look like. And we can kind of have a discussion on if we want to do it or not, or like what are just some of the logistics, or if it's easier to just keep the one we have and move forward. And so I can do that.
Okay, so what do I need to do to post this proposal?
I think you need to first you have to create a profile, or you have to sign up.
So this is separate from, because I'm a member of the DAO, so I also have to create a OneHive account.
Yeah, we're using that because we don't have a forum. We don't have a forum. You probably don't want to sign up because we're recording this right now. So I would recommend signing up later, and then you just can create a new proposal under ideas. And on the roadmap.
Literally, can someone sit with me while I do it, because I've already hit like 10 questions.
Okay, yeah, we can do it after this. I can walk you through it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
let's do it right after the meeting. It should
Thank
probably
you.
take 5 minutes, maybe
Thanks.
slightly
This
more.
could be a good like bite-sized video, as well as like logging into OneHive. But long term, we want to have like a unified like website with all of the stuff in one thing. So if we're doing voting and forum, and like navigating to all the liquidity pools, and donating to your favorite cause, and your NFT gallery, and your member directory of other crypto people on the island. But it's just, yeah, I mean, I think we're like
Yeah, and this brings up another question about the forum. Like, if we do launch again, are we going to continue to use the OneHive forum? Should we have our own custom forum? That's another question to consider.
Yeah, I would like to have a custom forum that we're able to pay with the treasury, like built, because it would be nice to get some developer talent, like, because ideally we're retaining talent. So if we have a designer, like, great, we have a designer, maybe we have 2 designers, and they kind of are doing, you know, different contracts here and there. But yeah, I would say if we could, we're using like the OneHive as much as possible now, while we don't have a lot of resources, just piggybacking. But yeah, it is
just something to consider.
Bootstrap.
While we're discussing that.
Well, what would be, because I feel like there's already, you know, platforms out there.
Right, we could use
maybe we can just fork the OneHive forum, but you still have to log in separately. I guess that's like, if people could log in with their wallet, would be ideal. And
yeah.
Can't we use Mirror for that? Sorry.
Well, yes, I was discussing Mirror for doing like our blogging, to do both like our learning journey and kind of what Julia was suggesting, which is like more bite-sized stuff.
Okay. Sorry, I'm late. I don't mean to like.
Okay. Well, while you're here, we wanted, I mean, I've just volunteered to put up a forum post on if we want to wind down the DAO, or kind of like, in order to deploy 2.0, DAO 2.0. So there's that. And then 2 is, if when we do redeploy 2.0, do we want to have like our legal strategy in place? Like, we'd say, well, we
100% want to have our legal strategy in place. Actually, I had a 5-minute conversation with my mortgage law professor, and
we
brought
can take
up
out a mortgage for we can EPR DAO, take out a mortgage.
No, like she works at banks and all that, and writes opinion letters all the time. She gets paid for that, right? So
okay.
Now that you know, the first thing she asked me is, what responsibility do you have in that, right? Because the issue being the fact that there's open market for this token, right? You know, and if there is like, you know, I didn't tell her if there was an expectation of profit or anything. Her next question was, what is your responsibility, or what is your liability? Because responsibility means liability in Spanish. So she basically suggested what Jonathan's strategy was all about, right? Protecting himself with a corp or anything. So yeah, I just think that that we definitely, for DAO 2.0, we want to have our legal strategy in place. We probably want to have, like, you know, a corporation for the DAO, right? And we probably, you know, if we want to be savvy about it, we use our own like legal entities, right? We don't really act as ourselves. And by that, I mean, like, you know, you use a wallet that's affiliated only with that legal entity and not necessarily your personal assets. So, yeah, I mean, just a thought, this isn't tax or legal advice. You know, I'm just about the conversation we had. And, you know, I don't know. I vote we have non-recorded meetings, like, also. Yeah.
Well, is there? I guess I would recommend starting a One Hive forum post. I think maybe that's what we get into is whoever is the lead, like the project owner, the person directly responsible for that proposal, just goes ahead and puts the forum post up to start with. Because yeah, we want to be having like some good discussion, and I think after maybe 1 or 2 weeks of like forum back and forth, we have something closer to an answer. And I guess we're February 16th. I think yeah, by March, I would like to be in a kind of a more launch ready
Absolutely.
place. But what's up with the open law, Jose?
So there's a bunch of operating agreements, and yeah, I mean, mostly for tokenized membership interest, you know, but they don't really, you know, allow for the transfer of the interest, you know, but the token does represent it. So there are companies like Neptune, for example, that just, you know, they do staking, I think it is, or something like that, for big ballers. And they went through with open law, and, you know, you register legally, you put in your social security. Not like what I mean by register legally is that they have a website, and on the website you go on, you fill out a form with your name, your birth date, your social security number, and your wallet address, right? Basically KYC with them, and yeah, and you can deposit assets. I think they have a minimum of like 60 or 30 ETH, you know, and they manage those assets, and they yield. It's a DAO specifically for yielding, for maximizing yield. So you know, I guess more so like the tokenization aspect, like nowadays is more so like a fancy way of, like, you know, basically issuing somebody like a certificate of stock or something like that, or not. It's not even a certificate of stock, because we're talking about, like, again, a membership interest. So, you know, those are, you know, what I think would be a good idea, if we could, like, also like set up like some working groups, right? Because it'd be nice to, like, just meet and talk about that, you know, and talk to people that, you know, have, like, open, like, their own corporations here, and like, you know, like,
Sounds
you know,
like a great
that's
idea
something me and
for an
Jonathan
real
could
life
work
event.
in. What? Excuse me?
Would you want to host an event for like legal DAO hacking?
That would be interesting. I just, you know, I more than teaching people about it, I kind of want to have a discussion.
No. I mean, that's
That's the way. That's the
yeah,
idea.
exactly.
Yeah, I like that idea.
Dialogue.
Yeah.
So wait,
We
We're
like,
just talking about that.
like teaching people, like,
No,
what
no.
to do?
No, it's like more
No,
like
no.
an interview. It's like a discussion between the whole group and whatnot, whoever is attending. That's the idea.
Yeah, exactly. So we can, you know, we can talk about that. And the thing is that, like, if we were to use an operating agreement like that, wouldn't that, like quote unquote contradict, like, our current arrangement with One Hive, with Gardens, because we do have an open market. So if our token represents a membership interest, like, you know, there's that conflict there. And do we even, like, is this even that, you know, like, or are we just trying to push it into something? So but yeah, that discussion would be fantastic. I guess I'd be open to, like, I don't know, Julia, I think you run the fintech meetup too, don't you? Right? Maybe
Yeah.
maybe we can collab on a co-branded
Yeah,
event, right?
she's the one that brought the idea.
Oh, excellent. Cool.
So you're the speaker next week.
Okay. Next
Yeah,
week.
I'd say let's Sorry,
Well,
which day?
I was proposing just so that we have some more immediate content, with some more, so that, because right now everything that we've been doing, it's been recorded and distributed to the community, but only in like these hour-long meeting formats, and I don't think that's an easily consumable format for our audience, and I don't think they need to be seeing all the details. And so I was proposing doing like a weekly 5 to 10 minute to 15-minute sort of recap of like, what did you learn over the last week? What are the takeaways? What are we working on next week? So that people can consume it and get a window into what we're doing, so that our efforts are they're also able to get value out of the current efforts that are taking place, and doing it in like a dialogue format.
Yeah, it'd be nice to like meet, like if you want to draft up, because I know Antonio wants to get the proposals thing up and running, and I agree, like that's the same problem, or like one of the challenges we're facing at the other DAO, right? So if you want to meet and work on that proposal, like I'd be happy to like help
Be a
out.
speaker.
Oh, so it's not. I think Julia's talking about like something more recurring, where like where we do things like other formats. I don't know if I was trying to bring it back to the proposals, but yeah, I mean, I'm down to help out. However, I would just like to have a good discussion on like our options, right? Basically,
Well,
and
yeah. So two points. One is we can get the kind of, we need to have a solution to our legal status. So that's like priority one. And then two is we can build in a crypto legal hacker kind of like professional meetup, where it's more about, nobody has to be teaching, but people who are professionals in the industry, or people who are looking for legal representation or services or advice, can go to that meetup in San Juan. And we can look at a calendar where the 3 different organizations can have we can figure out if we can do like a co-branded, co-sponsored
yeah,
event.
that would be fantastic. It would be an epic event, to be honest. And if we do it like once a month, that like, or I don't know, maybe that's too much, once a quarter or something like that.
Yeah, but we need our logo first on our website running already, because that would be really important for people to remember us, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Not necessarily. Like if at least you're able to capture their email addresses from the event, then people can sign up who want to be involved. Yeah, it's a big mistake a lot of businesses make, is delaying their launch and delaying getting in front of their audience because they don't have a logo or website. Like, it's actually a mistake.
We have a logo, but it's just not the one we want to have long term. So,
which is fine. That's the beauty of it. I
Yeah.
think this is a perfect moment to capture this transition that we're going through, and while it's still fresh, and it's like, okay, here's where we are right now. We're now gearing up and in the transition phase, and here's what we've learned, and here's what we want to do in the next one, and here's where we've been, and here's where we're going. I think this is a perfect opportunity for it.
Yeah, that sounds great. That sounds awesome.
Where are we at with NFT logo? Like, what is I know, Alex, you have a lot of thoughts on that.
So I think,
and Jose,
I think all right, just a parenthesis, I think we should, it should be a work for hire contract, because I'm taking trademarks, and like we need them to like hand over all like their interests and like like being in their copyright, in all monetary interests. So yeah, that's just something that's the format in which we should ask for the logo to be made, right? We're basically going to hire them. So close parentheses.
Yeah, that makes sense. I guess we haven't made too much progress on that while we're trying to figure out a lot of different other things. So definitely needs to be kind of pushed forward.
Yeah, Jose, do you want to just maybe make a comment in the NFT group on like, are there any designers in that group? First off.
Yeah, I can I can ask for it, and I can put it up like in a sort of bounty format. I think the proposal got approved, right? Alex, did your proposal get approved, or like did it get positive?
It's just a messaging proposal, so there's no like end, like there's no end to it. There's no funding associated with it. So,
But I guess like it can't change to negative now, or can it? Like it's already been deemed positive.
I think so. I think we have enough support in the group. I think everybody wants to move forward. So,
Okay, fair enough. So Antonio, you still have that 0.1 ETH like or 0.01 ETH thing that you were willing to expend, or you're still trying to keep that for the treasury?
No, yeah, I haven't spent it. The only thing I did was convert it to XDAI. So either if somebody wants the ETH or if somebody wants XDAI. But either way, like this ETH logo that I had a friend from Mexico do it.
Yeah, I
Because
think I talked to
he was
him.
already doing. He did one for like ETH Guadalajara. So they had like an ETH thing with like mariachis. But yeah, we definitely need something like from a local artist. And if somebody who already is like set up and ready to go with crypto payments, like even better. And then we can use. Yeah, go ahead, Jonathan.
No. Just finish your thought.
Okay, yeah. So either if we wanted to do like a submissions contest where we already have like the prize, or if we just want to say, hey, you're our person, submit your best work, and then we use that as kind of like the NFT fundraiser. So I think that's kind of like more of the question is if we want to do, if we want to create a competition to get the logo, or we just want to get the logo and then do fundraiser.
So we want to I think, for now, like if we get the logo in a more centralized manner, it's not a problem. But I would like if we like have a contest, and time isn't an issue, I think that would be honestly the preferable way. Like, ask these people like, hey, like, would you be interested in this contest? Winner takes 0.1 ETH. Or I don't know if that would be unfair. Do you guys think that would be unfair? Because that would be like, or would that be like what type of compensation are we trying to give them also? Like, because I can put up like the bounty, or like if we're gonna have like some type of contest instructions, but I also think that I don't know. What do you guys
Maybe we could
think?
talk to I think if we talk to the artists to see like kind of what they're preferred, because we don't want to be like, sometimes artists are,
Well, I can
creative.
ask later tonight.
Yes,
Tonight at
yes.
El Refugio, there's gonna be like a few. They're gonna be interviewing an artist from the NFT PR community. So there should be like people there that like already do like NFTs and art, and they're usually down to like do graphic design, like work for hire.
Yeah.
And I could ask around, but honestly, like bottom line is like people want money in their pocket, like like they're gonna want to do it because things are tough, man.
But I think we've spoken before about this, and we were talking about just for participating, they can get some DAO tokens, right? So that's something that can also be free, right? I mean, they have to meet certain requirements. I can just draw like a head and a couple of lines, and then that's a logo, right? And I get DAO tokens for that. No, it has to meet certain requirements. So I think
like
that
that
would be
idea.
a good idea.
I like that idea, Jonathan. Actually, like if we can readopt that idea, that would be fantastic. Because then, like, people don't like. I don't want people to like, because like sometimes these people like they spend time and they expend their effort for like this, and like not winning, like it's like shit. And then it's like really like a contracting job, like more than
I think if the artists that we're talking to, we can look at people's portfolios and see if they're gonna produce like something that we like. So I would say if we were to the quickest thing and the most straightforward thing is we find an artist that we like, we commission them, they submit the work, they get paid with the contract bounty, and then we can use that for like a later kind of marketing drive. Otherwise, just holding a competition is a lot of work. So I guess what is like the return for us as an organization for like, if we just had one thing to do, if we like didn't have anything else to do, it's like, yeah, let's do an NFT like design competition. But we have like so many so many like moving parts that I think if we were to just go a little bit more direct with just getting an NFT that everybody really like, a logo that everybody really likes from an artist that's, you know, well known and does great work, I think that would move us to like the next level with our branding and identity.
Yeah, I mean, and ideally, like, you know, what'd be cool is if we get like the branding guide, you know, and like we already got like a color scheme so that we can like start building the website, you know, because this is stuff that our web designer is gonna ask for, you know. So
yeah, we can get the branding kit. I mean, that designers are already like well used to like providing everything that you just mentioned in terms of like all the files, and we own it now. And so I think having a 0.1 ETH kind of like payout with, you know, Rico governance tokens and potential resell shares for any time that if we do an NFT fundraise in the future, you know, we can, I think OpenSea or who has like kind of the royalty contracts built in?
ERC, there's a standard for it.
Okay.
Yeah, most platforms.
Well, we're coming up on it. I think we've already crossed an hour. So I think everybody's got like some action items if it's doing forum posts. And I think we can work towards getting the kind of the micro interview series as well as this legal event thing going. It seems like those are kind of low hanging, easily doable. And what else? What else do we need to remember going out of this?
Next Monday, let's talk about the tokenomics. I know, Antonio, you want to discuss a lot of those details. Let's take advantage of next Monday to try to sort some of those out. Maybe you want to take a lead on that?
Yeah, definitely. And then I know this week's been everybody's like at ETH Denver, so which is great because it gives everybody like an idea of what a community could be, what are things that we could be doing. Like imagine if we had that kind of vibrant community here, and we do, it's just not as well organized or funded. So I think everybody's going to come back from that with a lot of like really good, like excited energy and wanting to contribute more meaningfully to kind of building out and reaching like our mission objectives. So it may seem like we're not doing anything, but we're doing it.
I mean, that's fine with me. So that legal like DAO discussion, when are we gonna like basically like when are we aiming for that, more or less?
I would say, I mean, there's nothing holding us back aside from just we want to have more time to kind of think through the different variables. But I think having like a smaller kind of legal sub-working group is a good idea. But right now, Jose, you're kind of like the one guy, although I know like Ruben likes to give some input, but I would like to get some input from the One Hive community as well. Maybe they've already got some answers. So getting that forum post out there and then getting an event, and then maybe like by the time we're ready to launch 2.0, if that's what we decide, I think we would want to have it by then. So even if it's like 2 to 4 weeks, having like something decided upon.
Okay, sounds good.
And we can look at the calendar too, if like for a date that works with everybody, because if we're doing a legal crypto hacker, well, I'm just, that's the term that the legal hackers is already like an existing community that kind of LexDAO, LexNode grew out of. So we could even kind of like jump in there too if we wanted to get like some LexNode support. Crypto legal hackers is kind of like the terminology.
I think we would all benefit, honestly, like even on the island, like if lawyers were meeting up and fucking talking about this shit.
Oh, getting too many lawyers together. Sounds dangerous.
Yeah, I can kick and cry all I want, bro. They don't give a shit, bro. It's got to be somebody that's actually like has power, like, you know, like pushing this shit forward, because it's like, you know, I really like went forward with the Wyoming bill thing like 2 years ago, you know. I translated it. I went to the legislative office, whatever, so they would like, you know, make a bill out of it. And, you know, it just kind of like died there, bro, in the process, you know. Wasn't really able to.
Yeah, but do you think, what lessons could you take from that like to apply it to this now we're, 2 years down the line and we're still kind of like at the door ready to go through. It's just we're still kind of like a little nervous to make the full send. So I don't think we need to.
I think like like if we got like a few people to sign in on like like on this type of proposal, like if it wasn't just me trying to talk to everybody, or if at least I had like some type of social proof, like a letter, signed by like most of the community,
okay.
or even like a change.org like thing would be nice. Because it's like it's basically like I can like sit down and break it down and try to talk to them and convince them about it, but like it's just gonna take too much time, and like things are limited by nature in the legislature. These people are limited to 4-year terms, and they have to be running for re-election within those 4 years. So they're busy as fuck, trying to like feed themselves.
But how does that prevent us from creating like a legal entity?
Oh, that doesn't. I'm thinking like I'm thinking like in a broader way, like how we can make things more viable here, because if we wanted to issue like securities.
If we just create a good example, that's going to get people's attention. If we're promoting solutions, because if people think that we're trying to make their lives more difficult with all this like crazy tech stuff, then yeah, they're not going to be impressed. But I think we have enough to work with where we can get like I said, the minimum legal viable DAO. So
yeah, I mean, as long as it's not illegal, like it's legal. So
what if it's
Jonathan laughs, but like there's literally like a thing here, bro.
No,
like,
it's true.
The statute gives you like wording for your like the description of what you're gonna do, and if it says like for any and all legal purposes in the jurisdiction of Puerto Rico, like it's valid, and that's what fucking scares me. It's so obscure, It's like so like here, write it up yourself.
I mean, as long as we're doing if we're coming in with the right intentions and we're not trying to screw anybody over, run any scams, or trying to rug pull, like I think we'll be okay as long as we're just like just working honestly. So and also and more consumable bite-sized portions. So okay. Jonathan, I saw you sent that artist link. That's really cool.
That's a friend I have. Yeah, I know her personally.
I would love to see more artist portfolios, because then we can kind of get a better idea of like what kind of style we want. Because there's a lot of different cool styles out there. And also somebody who's already worked on like some logo stuff too, because not everybody's like creating a logo versus creating like, a masterpiece is different format. So Jose, yeah, keep us posted on what you were able to find tonight at the NFT event. And
about the artists.
Yeah.
I mean, we're just gonna like, I can just ask them, if you want to like see their portfolios, or the NFT Puerto Rico people, they held a contest for their logo.
Okay.
And a few people like dropped like a few things there, and you guys are welcome to drop by and check them out.
Can you share where can we find those? Yeah, just share.
Just share the link, or I can share them on the chat. That's what I was thinking about earlier, rather than, because if we're not going to do the contest, then let's not get people excited about it, So, but I can get a few art. In fact, if you go to my link tree in Blockchain Puerto Rico on Instagram, literally Blockchain Puerto Rico on Instagram, and you should see like 13 artists that all went to the event, and they've all issued like an NFT on OpenSea. So
nice. How many people participated in the logo event?
I'd say it was like I think it was like 5. I could be wrong.
And what was the prize categories?
It was literally like resharing, like their art and like sharing their profile. Okay. It was for a share.
They didn't. Okay,
free
so
marketing basically.
Like, we don't have tokens right now. We have like, we're running on Rinkeby, and no monetary value. So like, it's kind of been like that for a minute. So we're trying to move along, but the regulatory obscurity is daunting. Is that even a word? It is, but like, is it even used correctly? And it's like, I don't know. It's like we should just try to be legally compliant, work something out, share our thoughts with people like in public, so that other people can like contribute to our ideas, and then like we can like keep the ball rolling. Because right now, like BlockFi, they had an encounter with the SEC. Like they got a notice of offering an unregistered security or something like that for each of their like Bitcoin, Ether, and Litecoin trusts, which basically manage like the investment aspect of it. So like, I guess what I'm trying to say is that like they worked out a deal and they're gonna launch a new like regulated product with the SEC
Right.
called BlockFi Yield. And my point is that like we should aim for something like definite, right? Whatever it may be, right? And just strive forward with it, and eventually I think regulators are gonna hop on board and tell us, whoa, what are you doing? Whatever.
Right, right. I'm not concerned though at all. I'm not concerned because there's so many things that are not clear yet, and they're working on it. But this is gonna take years. It's not going to be next month that the full guidance is going to be provided, and then during this time everything's going to continue moving forward. Right? We can't just wait for the IRS or the SEC to decide what's going to be the end result with the regulations for us that participate in DAOs or general crypto blockchain projects. It will get there. So I'm not scared. I'm not concerned at all because we're doing everything with clarity, transparent as possible. So that being said, we're doing everything with good intentions, and we're meeting compliance, right, based on the regulations and the guidance that we have at this current stage. Well, so when we get there, when we meet block fee, for example, the current market cap, then we can talk about issuing a private offering or an ICO, and when we do it with the SEC.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So basically, we just gotta work on something that's like legally compliant now, and
Right.
hopefully, like that would allow us to have a bank account, right? And if we could have liquidity, if we have a bank account, then we can liquidate assets, right?
Right.
And pay ourselves in dollars. That
Well,
would be,
that's going to be the challenge at this point. Figuring who's the bank here in Puerto Rico is going to allow us to open a bank account.
So PenFed allows us to, but I heard that state co-ops have a lot more leniency in terms of dealing with anti-money laundering laws and FinCEN and all that. Because I know that, for example, Banco Popular won't give illegal immigrants a bank account,
Right.
but they will, or undocumented immigrants, but they will like co-ops will, and it's not illegal. So we can like talk to like I would prefer to convince a local co-op we can later like establish a relationship with, or establish a long-term relationship with, so that we can like like explore other things like on and off ramps with them, and
Mhm.
and they could even help us like sort some of this like regulatory obscurity.
Agreed.
This is exciting times, guys. I mean, I don't even know what to say. It's also like very well, you guys
Well,
are
let's focus on. I think there's so many things out of our control. If we just focus on what we can do,
Right.
and what we want to do, I think that's going to help keep us from getting into like analysis paralysis. So,
I think we
yeah,
should
I
host
think
that legal talk as soon as possible, but March
get
is
it on the
coming
calendar for
along.
next week, man.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna go MIA like in March, because I have to like begin to study for the bar and all that, and just my participation will be kind of like down. So just a heads up.
Well, looking at the surf report, the surf's going to be low on Monday, but that might be a little too quick for an event. Okay, well let's get something as soon as possible on the calendar, and we can just like publish it to the different meetup groups. And
I have the Thursdays. I have Thursdays at El Quinque. I have that spot. We could co-brand an
Oh,
event there.
also on Mondays, President's Day. We got to keep that in mind as well.
what do you mean? Like
most people are going to be off, so they could be on
Uh,
vacation or whatnot. Just saying. You want to go
for
and
the
be on Monday.
parameter meeting or just in general?
Yeah, I'm going to be on vacation, but I'll probably be available
Oh,
for a meeting anyway. I'll try to book a room for that.
Okay. All right. Any other closing arguments? Closing.
Really a nice proposal. I see you posted in the forum.
Yeah, I posted the proposal in the forum. I'm not really sure what's to do now. If someone
Okay,
can
great.
play on and help me, that'd be great.
Well, you got experience level unlocked.
Yeah, but now what do I do?
Yeah,
how does this tie back into the DAO page? I'm still so confused.
Yeah. Well, if you wanted to then take it to the next step and submit a suggestion proposal on the DAO, that would be the next step. And then people could signal support for that. So then I could vote on it and say, yeah, I really like this idea. So that would be kind of like the
Antonio, do you want to walk Julia through? It should be pretty easy. You just have to create a proposal and you just paste a link into it.
okay, here.
Maybe you can spend 1 or 2 minutes. It should be really quick. It's hopefully easy.
All right, guys, I gotta help out. I got another meeting in a couple of minutes.
Okay, thank you, Jonathan.
All right, thank you all.
Same.
Take care, guys.
Everyone. Thank you. Bye.
Adios.
Okay,
Here we go.
can we stop recording? I mean, we can keep recording. I don't care.
Okay, yeah, all right. Well, here we go. I guess everybody left. I was too busy. Okay, let's see. I'll screen share first. Wait, hold on.
I mean, I'm having issues even with like getting connected to the DAO.